Brendan Girton for Oklahoma. He's been a starter to start the season, has been coming out of the bullpen to try to gain a little bit of confidence. Rich, how has that worked for Brendan Girton?
Yeah, he's been up and down. I mean, he's got 36 strikeouts and 23 walks. If he can find the zone more, I mean, he can be electric. He's got really good stuff, and he throws hard.
Somewhat surprisingly, even though this will be the third meeting between the teams this year, he has not pitched against Wichita State. And he didn't pitch over the weekend at BYU. Last time he was out there, in fact, was on April the 14th. So he's had a good 8 days off to get himself ready. Works out of the stretch full time, and he faces Camden Johnson, third baseman for the Shockers. Camden Johnson bats left and throws right. Just a freshman. He is 2 for 9 in the 2 games between these two teams. He's had a very consistent freshman season. You see that batting average, .319, and you consider the non-conference play that this team has endured against Auburn, Virginia, very good Iowa team. Of course, they played Oklahoma twice, Oklahoma State, Kansas State. It's not been an easy time of it. Swings and misses on 0-2, a 3-pitch strikeout for Girton.
Really good start for Girton right there. We talk about him being in the strike zone. He's filling it up right now. And you talk about they've played a lot of good teams. This team, there's so many new faces. They've had to kind of play a bunch of guys in different spots.
Only 11 returnees on the roster for Brian Green, first-year head coach. He said he is proud of the way that they have been able to endure, and said the fact that they have a culture and a vibe about them may be the thing that he is most excited about, because despite all the new faces, they have really pieced some things together culturally. Mauricio Millon, the catcher out of El Paso, is in. Millon, junior college stop at El Paso Community College. Real energy, positivity guy on this team.
Yeah, he seems like he's one of those gel guys. You know, with that many new guys, you need as many guys like Millon as you can have.
In the air to right, retreating is Bryce Madron, shades his eyes and makes the catch for the second out. So Girton, Skip Johnson, what's important for Brendan Girton tonight, and as usual, just continue to be yourself and throw strikes. The stuff is there, Rich. And here's a look at his mix, heavily reliant upon that fastball.
Yeah, like I said, he throws hard. Velo's 94, but his slider is really, when he's throwing it well, it is sharp. It has a lot of depth on it.
That can be the difference maker for him. And there's Skip Johnson. Sooners getting a little healthier with John Spikerman back in the lineup tonight. Good to see. Jackson Nicholas is back in the DH role after missing the weekend. He had a little strain after a defensive play in the Kansas State series. So good to see some guys getting healthier for the Sooners. Here's David Johnson, the center fielder. About guys that work out of the stretch full time, Rich, just a comfort thing?
Yeah, for sure. That's what, you know, a lot of guys do it just because it's less movement. A lot of these guys, their windups nowadays are almost a modified stretch where they're already starting pretty much sideways and just kick their heel out and then deliver. So that a lot of guys just don't like to cut out the extra movement.
Yeah, they almost start in the position that you see Girton and then just kind of take a little leg kick and come home and call it a windup. I guess we could almost call that a windup. Doesn't go above his head.
Yeah, not like the old days. Guys take their glove up over their head, like Kershaw does it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it helps them stay more back to front and downhill through the plate.
Foul tip and a full count to David Johnson. He's a double transfer. Brian Green says Johnson's the best athlete on this team. He's got 3 hits in the 2 meetings between these teams, but had 2 years at Iowa Western and then spent last season at Crowder College. This sent in the air, foul. spent a fall at the University of Nebraska in 2023 and then went to Crowder College to finish up that year. Had a grand slam in the East Carolina series over the weekend. And ball 4 just away to David Johnson.
Yeah, that's a good miss by Gurton. That's a fastball, squared up the glove. You just hope to get that call, especially since he's been throwing strikes early. He keeps doing it, he'll probably get it later in this game.
This staff can really run up the strikeouts, but walks have been a problem as well. And Gurton with 2 down faces Derek Williams. But downstairs, Williams is out of St. Louis, had a junior college stop at Florida Southwestern. Hit a 2-run home run in Norman against Oklahoma in the meeting between the two teams on March the 5th. Oklahoma won that one 5-3. He has shown some pop. 6 RBIs in their FAU series 2 weekends ago. Now leaving things up with 1-1. Joseph Brown is our plate umpire. Got Scott Chesser at first. Mark Huseman is out at second base, and Cole Lump is the third base umpire tonight. Good pitch from Gurton. Fastball, 94.
That's where he needs to stay. I'm telling you, OU has some good arms that have been really inconsistent. If they can find their way back to the strike zone consistently, this pitching staff be a force to reckon with.
There goes the runner, and the hole is open for Williams to shoot it through the right side. And because Johnson was on the move, he'll make third base. And the Shockers have a 2-out threat brewing here in the top of the first inning.
Pretty good piece of hitting right there. Lets that ball travel, just pokes it the other way. Isaiah Lane covering second, open up that whole right side for that ball to get through.
You know, that might have been a base hit even had Lane not been moving over there. That was a perfect location, as you said, Rich.
Yeah, that was a pretty good placement. It's always good to hit him like that. I mean, he didn't hit it hard, but they say hit them where they ain't.
That will get you on base more often than not. Here's Ryan Callahan. Callahan is a .292 hitter. Playing over at first base tonight, redshirt junior from Overland Park, Kansas. They have played Mian at first base at times as well this year to kind of save wear and tear on Mian's knees. Not doing all the catching. But Callahan's in there a bunch. He was 0 for 2 against Oklahoma March 5th and then didn't play in the game in Wichita April the 2nd. And he's another one of those Johnson County Community College guys, but began his career with 2 seasons at Kansas before his JUCO stop. Roller toward third, gathered up by Anthony McKenzie, and the inning's over. A walk and a base hit and 2 left for the Shockers. Bottom of the first comes your way next with Oklahoma. The lineup, John Spikerman is back in there. And Norman Regional Health, building our community stronger throughout South Central Oklahoma. Bryce Madron, the Big 12 Co-Player of the Week in the number 2 spot. Carmichael Snyder, Anthony McKenzie, Jackson Nicholas DHing. He's missed the last 4 games. And then Pettis, Willits, and Isaiah Lane. A little more now on John Spikerman's return from the third member of our crew, Carly Murray.
Well, Chad, it's the news that Sooner fans have been eager to hear. The return of veteran center fielder John Spikerman is making his first start since March 16th. Spikerman had hamate surgery in March and has been slowly preparing for his return. He had his first appearance at the plate on Sunday against BYU. Well, Oklahoma's ecstatic, dabbing back to say the very least. He's hitting .389 on the year. And let's not forget about his explosive speed out in center field. Kendall Pettis says that he can run down to the left field line or down to the right field line. It's just good to have him back. He's a huge help. And guys, his return is very timely as they face the Texas Longhorns this weekend.
Thank you, Carly. It is his first start since March the 16th when he was injured in Game 2 of the TCU series. And Rich, we'll keep an eye on it. It's the right hand, and he's a switch hitter. He said before the game that throwing doesn't bother him all that much. But John Spikerman back in there. And when he left this Oklahoma lineup, he was really starting to get hot. Not that he hadn't been all season, but this is a 389 hitter with great experience, including going all the way to the College World Series title game 2 seasons ago. And all of a sudden, what a welcome addition this can be headed down the home stretch.
Yeah, that's a huge boost, not only for athletically for him covering ground and being a great hitter, but I think for the vibe of the team as well. You know, he's a leader on this team, and guys look up to him and how he plays.
Yohan Spikerman from Jack Mount making his first start of the year. He spent the fall of 2022 at Washington State and then made a junior college stop and then rejoined Brian Green. Brian Green was the head coach at Washington State then when Mount was there. But first start of the year for this right-hander. Got to be a little nervous, you would think, Rich?
Yeah, probably. I mean, he hasn't, like I said, he hasn't thrown a lot. He's only got 13 1/3 innings. So, but they're looking to play a lot of guys and throw a lot of guys, like we talked about earlier with all the new guys and pitchers and everything like that. They're still trying. I think they're still trying to find their way.
Spikerman hits one hard on the ground. Rogers slides out into the outfield turf and makes a nice play on the speedy John Spikerman for the first out. Nicely done. If you were to have seen a replay there, you would have seen an excellent play by Jordan Rogers. These guys have learned to slide on this turf, Rich. It's almost a little simpler to make a play like that.
It is, especially to the backhand side. I used to teach all my infielders to drop knee slide on their backhands, and it also helps them stay down, especially when they're going away from first base. If you can learn to slide with that left leg tucked under, catch the ball, plant that right foot, you can stand up and still have some leverage to throw the ball to first base.
Bryce Madron, you see the Big 12 co-player of the week after what he did in particular against BYU. Madron sharing co-player of the week honors with Texas Tech's Austin Green. He had a 7 RBI game on Saturday, BYU. 2 home runs in the game and 3 in the series. Then you go 2 off-speed pitches and 1 back to the back screen there.
He hit the ball. I think that just slipped out of his hand. That caught me off guard.
Or if he was trying to throw a breaking pitch or just like an off-speed changeup there that got away from him.
I don't know what it was. It was about 10 feet high and about 8 feet outside.
Zach Mount is the first Canadian to play at Wichita State since the 1990s. And he spent 2 seasons at Johnson County Community College. Mainly a starting pitcher there.
This is one of those situations where Madron's so good. He creates so many walks and has such a good idea of the strike zone.
Indeed he does. 32 walks this season for Madron. And hit by that pitch with 1 away.
Well, full count, you'd rather just be a ball than get hit, but he'll take it either way.
So Bryce Madron to first. That is the 5th time he's been hit by a pitch. There's the first-year head coach of the Shockers, Brian Green. He was the head coach at Washington State for 4 seasons, and before that, he was the head coach at his alma mater, New Mexico State. But only 11 returning players on the roster. Man, so tough. When you have a new coaching staff, and these days with the transfer portal, you don't know what you're getting yourself into sometimes, Rich.
Yeah, you just never know. And with the way things are, you know, guys leave, coaching change, you lose a bunch of guys, you don't know who's going to be there, and you got to find a way to make up ground. And the transfer portal helps, but it doesn't help so much with your chemistry.
There goes Madron. The pitch is a little bit high to Easton Carmichael, and Millon just dropped the ball on his attempt to make the exchange from his glove to his hand. It'll be a stolen base for Bryce Madron. That is his 10th.
10 for 11 on the year, yeah. Like we're talking about, with 35 guys, it takes a while to develop some culture like Coach Green was talking about.
Carmichael, a big swing and a miss at a fastball. Seen varying velocities so far from Mount. Almost looked like changeups to start Madron with, and I don't know if that's not the first true fastball we've seen him throw, Rich.
Yeah, it might have been. You know, with two good hitters, Spikerman and Madron, they might just trying to keep him off balance. He got away with one there.
And hung that one.
Yeah, he hung that one about chest high. Those balls usually go a long ways.
2-2 on Easton Carmichael. What a year he's having. 55 hits. That's 7th in the Big 12. And his batting average for the year is .362. In Big 12 play, he's hitting .411, which is 2nd in the conference. Shoots this one out of play.
Top 6 in this lineup are lethal. And all hitting 320 plus. You have a little bit of fall off down there in the bottom 3rd, but you know, Willits has been hitting the ball pretty well the last few weeks. You know, he's raised his average quite a bit, and Pettis has been consistent, just getting on base.
There's a throw out there, and Madron back in there safely. And with this Oklahoma lineup, Jason Walk really played well with Spikerman out. Played an excellent center field. Hit a couple of home runs, and now you have the potential to continue to mix him in, play him a little bit in the outfield, maybe DH him some. Madron moves. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw to third is not in time. So Madron steals 2nd and 3rd, and Mount is able to strike out Easton Carmichael.
Yeah, good jump by Madron. Timed him up after the pickoff. It was supposed to be a little timing play, but it wasn't. I don't think it was timed up right with the pitcher and the second baseman. And a lot of times guys don't pick the second base 2 times in a row very often. If they do, they'll do an inside turn or something, try to catch a guy, lean in a little bit.
So you're saying the best time to try to steal 3rd is after they've tried to pick you off?
Yeah, a lot of times. You know, with him being out there, I'm sure they've already tried to time him up to a certain extent. You know, every offense has a way of, you know, counting guys down. You know, it used to be the UCLA back in the day. So when he comes set, you start spelling UCLA, and if they start landing on the letter consistently, you start guessing and getting good jumps.
Why did you use UCLA?
It's just where it came from. You can make it however you want. Some guys just count numbers, but we'd used UCLA for a little while when I was on staff here.
Interesting. Michael Snyder in. Good pitch. Even things up at 1-1. Snyder having a great year. He is 2nd in the Big 12 Conference in runs batted in for all games. And in conference play, he leads the Big 12 with 26 runs driven in those Big 12 games. University of Washington transfer, clubbed 11 home runs there last year.
I think he's on pace to do better than that this year.
That he is.
If he keeps going.
8 home runs for Snyder in 2024. He had a great BYU series as well. And if not for what Madron did, this might have been your Big 12 co-player of the week. Pop-up, shallow right field. The second baseman, Rogers, slips down. But fortunately for him, the right fielder, Seth Stroh, is there to put it away. The inning's over. A man left for Oklahoma, no runs. And
what you got?
With 24/7 claim support, it's easy to Geico.
Are you kidding me? Who's next? Whoa, the new iPhone 15. With that amazing camera, I'll be sharing pics from the slope. You do not want to see yourself skiing. You look like a marshmallow.
Join now. Only T-Mobile gives you 4 new iPhone 15s on us and 4 lines of unlimited for $25 a line.
nothing scary about Energizer Ultimate Lithium, the #1 longest-lasting AA battery.
Off and running in the second inning. 1-1 the count on Jordan Rogers, the second baseman for the Shockers tonight. Wichita State had a walk and a hit. And that was a pitch clock violation against Girton. There takes the count to 2-1 on Jordan Rogers. Shockers left 2 men aboard in the first. Had a walk and a hit off of Girton.
Pitch there, man. He got in on him right there. It's 91 on the hands.
Jordan Rogers is 0 for 7 in the 2 games between these teams this year. He's an outfielder that they've converted to second base. He's kind of learning the throwing angle there, and man, that runs in and nothing to block that. He's got a little protective guard, but I think that might have gotten him below that protective guard, Rich, even more on his forearm. Replay is down, but it looked like and sounded like it got him below that guard.
Yeah, I thought I heard skin. He was holding it like it. If it hits that guard, usually they just run down there. But I think he got him, like I said, either a little bit above or a little bit below that guard.
Wichita State very good at getting hit by pitch. In fact, they are 8th in the country. They've been hit the 8th most of any team. That's the 88th time that a Shocker has been hit by pitch. And this is game number 41. So that's basically twice a game, Rich, they get hit by pitch.
Yeah, that's.
Is there an art to that?
That's quite. Yeah, there is actually. You know, a lot of guys teach that. I haven't really been paying how close these guys stand at the plate, but I'm assuming they're right up on it most of the time.
And it's something that Brian Green has worked with his team on. That throw over to first, way high, and it's going to go into the dugout and bounce back out. So it will be a throwing error against Girton, sending Jordan Rogers down to second base.
I don't think Girton just didn't get his head around and find Snyder over there at first and let it go high.
0-1 the count to Braden Lucart. Lucart spent a redshirt year at Oklahoma in 2022. It's down and in to even the count. Lucart spent last season at Johnson County Community College after that redshirt year at Oklahoma. Only his 8th start. He missed about a month of the season. Swats this one foul. So Girton's had a little base traffic in each of the first 2 innings. There is activity out in Oklahoma's bullpen. Midweek games typically see 6, 7, maybe 10 or 11 pitchers.
Yeah, depending on the Tuesday.
Oklahoma, though, a late break here as the ball got away from Carmichael, and sliding past the bag, Rogers is tagged out by Anthony McKenzie. I think he might have beaten the throw, but slid past the bag on that turf and then got tagged out.
Yeah, he might have. The slide was kind of awkward too. I'm not sure. Might have got him a little bit before, but like I said, I think he may have slid off past the bag.
Lucart lines this one foul and out of play.
That's a big break for OU right there. You don't want to make, if you're Wichita State on offense or any offense, you don't want to make that first or third out over there at third base. Especially with the left-hander up right here, give him a chance to, if you're not sure you can make, give him a chance to get you over and they can get you in.
Three balls and 2 strikes to Braden Lucart. And he swings and misses at a payoff pitch. 2 down.
Yeah, good fastball up, got him a chase. See if Gert can settle back in right here and get this third out.
Seth Stroh will be the batter. So what a change here in about 3 pitches. Wichita State had potentially a runner at third and nobody out, and now it's bases empty and 2 gone.
And it seems like that's when Gert, when things start going good for him, he settles in a little bit. Like, that first inning, he got 2 quick outs, then walked a guy and gave up a hit. He's just got to settle in and try not to go up and down so much with his emotions.
Nothing in 2 on Seth Stroh, the 6'4" senior. He is a 4-year guy at Wichita State. Went through the coaching change and the interim head coach a year ago. Many of his hits have driven in runs. You look at his hits to runs batted in ratio. 21 hits and 32 runs batted in. He didn't play in the second game between these teams up in Wichita. That foul tip just popped out of the glove of Easton Carmichael. So Stroh will get another pitch at least.
See the emotion in Gert. He wanted that one.
And you got to cool yourself down. Two balls and 2 strikes. Skip Johnson said with Girton, a lot of work has been done out in the bullpen. Strike percentage has been getting higher. So they send him out for this start. As we said, his first start since March the 28th in the Lamar series. Strike 3 called. Back-to-back strikeouts to close the second for Girton. He has 3 strikeouts in the game so far. Presented by Riverwind Casino. It's always a good time. Wichita State message kind of simple. Don't want to lose another one to the Sooners.
Yeah, they want to avoid the sweep for sure and try to get some momentum. They got swept by East Carolina, and for OU, they just need to keep the momentum going. They're on a good win streak here, and keep the offense going and be able to get enough pitchers in there to throw strikes and win this game.
Skip Johnson was saying before the game, one thing about this team is they've been very protective of each other and picked one another up when they've had their struggles. You think about it, for Oklahoma, 14-4. They are 3 games clear in first place in the Big 12 standings. Important not to look at that, though, when you get back into conference play with Texas coming in this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend, Texas is going to be a big one. But they've been playing well on the weekends, that's for sure.
I mean, 10 games above 500 in one of the toughest conferences in the country, and 4 sweeps in league play. As Anthony McKenzie is in. McKenzie playing down at third tonight. So versatile, can play him a lot of different places. Daniel Zhang has come on to pitch here for the Shockers. He is a regular out of the bullpen. There's the right-hander. Prior Lake, Minnesota native. Daniel Zhang went to Dakota County Technical College. That is a Division II junior college. Brian Green said he's our wild card. Nobody seems to hit him. He will walk a few, but guys just don't get hits off of him. See anything about his delivery, his velocity, anything that would make him difficult to pick up or tough to hit, Rich?
Yeah, so far he's been a little 3/4. A lot of times that creates a lot of arm side run that runs away from left-handed hitters.
Oh, and he throws 92 to 95. That doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get these gems, out of a place like Dakota County Technical College.
Yeah, never heard of that. have a guy throwing 92 to 95 from a place like that. It makes you wonder how he got there and didn't end up D1 earlier.
The 2-2 is a called strike 3 to Anthony McKenzie. So Daniel Zhang, second pitcher of the night. We saw Jack Mount in the opening inning. Zhang strikes out McKenzie.
That just froze him. I think McKenzie thought that ball was a little away. We've talked about it several times this year. You can't leave it in the umpire's hands with 2 strikes if it's close.
The second meeting between these teams on April the 2nd, Zhang did get into that game, pitched an inning and walked 3 guys. So therein lies the wild card potential that Brian Green alluded to with his right-hander. And here's Jackson Nicholas. He's missed the last 4 games. Kind of pivoted awkwardly, making a throw in the Kansas State series. And he's back in DHing tonight. See if perhaps he's ready to play second base this weekend.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, you know, they want his bat in the lineup, but I'm sure they've told him, you know, if you ground out or whatever, just take it easy and don't try to re-aggravate that injury.
1-1, foul to back. Nicholas leads the Big 12 in on-base percentage, getting on over 50% of the time. And overall, a .378 hitter. That is 3rd in the conference. You mentioned the top 6 in particular in this lineup, lethal. And then you throw Spikerman back in there. There's a swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Daniel Zhang.
And there's that deception you were talking about. That's only 82. That doesn't look like it's, you know, that's a good changeup with good depth and arm side run just going away from him right there.
I mean, that pitch right there, that's the way they teach it.
Yeah.
Here is Kendall Pettis.
And to be honest with you, I think, you know, lately, the last 10, 15 years, they've got away from the changeup. Seems like it's always power, you know, power arm, power slider. You don't see a lot of really good changeups anymore.
Why do you suppose that is?
I have no idea. I think it's the best pitch in baseball, other than strike 1. But you know, I think a changeup is really good, especially if you have good, you know, fastball arm speed and able to take speed off the ball with those less stronger fingers towards the pinky and index finger.
Is it a difficult pitch to master, the changeup?
I think it probably just depends on the guy. You know, there's so many different grips, and trying to find the right one that works for you, and you can still get some movement, you can still get the speed off the ball. It's tough.
Pettis hits this one toward straightaway center field. David Johnson over to make the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Daniel Zhang on the mound. We are scoreless headed to the 3rd. Sooner baseball is senior out of San Antonio and came through McLennan Community College, where he won a junior college national title in 2021. Last year, 1-3 in 18 appearances for the Sooners, and another one of those guys. The stuff is there. It's just the confidence has to come back for him.
Yeah, like I said, he's got 8 strikeouts, 6 walks, and you like that, have a bigger differential on that number. But, you know, like we were saying, you know, Karsten, Lambert, Gurton, these guys, with the stuff that they have, can figure it out. This makes this pitching staff pretty hard to beat, and they're already hard to beat. And they strike a lot of guys out with the starters and the weekend guys, but they need some of these guys to get better during the midweek so they can help out later in the season.
If anyone can get a pitcher's confidence back, it is Skip Johnson.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a minute.
And doing it so successfully. You look at the staffs that he has had, and all of the guys who have gone on to pitch in the big leagues. I mean, you just take a look back at the draft where after the run all the way to the College World Series championship game, Jake Bennett, Cade Horton, Trevin Michael, David Sandlin, Chaz Martinez, Javier Ramos, Jarrett Godman, all those guys drafted. And prior to that, you had the year where Cade Cavalli, Levi Prater, Dane Acker all get drafted. To be able to, you know, it's not just restocking talent. Sometimes you take guys and you develop them into something they just weren't before. What I'm saying is you can't just go out and get guys that are great and throw 95 with a hard slider. You've got to develop them to a certain extent, especially when you lose them as quickly as he does to the draft.
Yeah, no, that's very well said. But he also takes on projects like Karsten and Lambert and Gurdon, guys that have the stuff but just haven't been able to zone it in yet. And he's done a good job with guys like that over the years as well.
Count stays at 2-2 to Cam Durnan. Will Karsten has been kind of in and out as a starter or bullpen. Guys made a couple of starts, started against Wichita State, in fact, and was very good in the March 5th game in Wichita, or here in Norman, I should say. Gave only 1 hit in 3 innings, and the big thing for him was he didn't allow a walk in that game. Also pitched against the Shockers in Wichita. An inning, gave 2 hits and 1 run. And he deals a leadoff walk to Cam Durnan.
Yeah, now we're looking for there. Leadoff walks are tough. Now you got to get back in the zone, try to get a ground ball double play.
Back to the top of the order, and Camden Johnson, who struck out against Brendan Gurton to start the game. Skied behind the plate on the third base side, over near the Sooner dugout, and out of play. One hop catch there made by that youngster. Tonight is 2 for Tuesdays, $2 concessions at the ballpark.
Yeah, that's definitely a bargain at any ballpark. You spend $100 in an inning and a half.
Yeah, they're stocked up
at a big league game.
There's nothing on the menu at a big league game that's $2. I don't even think, I think ketchup is even more than $2 at a big league game, Rich. Hard hit ground ball to Lane at second. He'll go to Willits for 1. The return throw, though, not in time, as Camden Johnson, the leadoff man, gets down the line very well for the Shockers. And the Sooners can't roll over the double play.
See if he beats it here. Can't really tell there, but I think Lane's got to do a better job. I think Lane's got to do a better job, though, of coming in a few more steps to cut the distance. You have your scouting reports. You know who can run and who can't. So you got to clean that up a little bit early on that front end. Come in 3 or 4 steps to cut that distance and make it where it's not even a close play.
Now, Skip Johnson has not asked for a review. This will be the umpires themselves wanting to take a look at it. The play at first base. So they will have a look at it. Plate umpire Joseph Brown. In the meantime, Will Karsten is going to keep himself loose. We'll have another look. Call was safe. Remember that. Has to be indisputable evidence.
I think this angle's better. Yeah, I think he got him.
I think he's out. It looks like the heel is down, Rich, but not touching the bag right there.
Yeah.
And the heel strike also caught the bag.
Yeah. But I think you can see a little daylight in there when the heel goes down.
I'm not firmly convinced of it. Are you?
From that one angle, I think it's pretty good. But like you said, when the original call on the field's safe, they got to be sure.
I would not want to have to adjudicate it from what we just saw. So again, Oklahoma has Texas coming into Norman this weekend. What a series that's going to be. Texas sitting in a tie for second in the Big 12. They are 11-7. Along with Oklahoma State and West Virginia. West Virginia got swept by Texas Tech last weekend.
Texas Tech starting to play better.
That they are. And you would expect that with most of Tim Tadlock's teams out there. Tim Tadlock, Skip Johnson, close friends growing up in Denton, Texas. Here are those standings. We're talking about Oklahoma 3 games clear in the conference race. Oklahoma State dropped 2 of 3 at Kansas State over the weekend. West Virginia got swept. It should be Texas in there in that tie for second place. And the call will stand. So they did not see indisputable evidence. I think you probably just could not tell from this angle.
Yeah, this is the closest angle, I think. Like I said, I don't know if it's enough to overturn it.
About 1.5 inches, and maybe the spike on the heel was touching the bag.
Right.
Either way, Camden Johnson is safe at first with 1 down. Mauricio Millon, the catcher tonight, back up there. He flied out to right fielder Bryce Madron his first time. These two teams in kind of similar spots with their catchers, both vital parts of the offense, and they've each tried to rest their catchers' legs. This is a long season. I mean, you could get into 60 games by the time you're all done.
Well, it's good to have 2 guys that are really good, especially defensively. You're talking earlier about Milan for Wichita State having to catch most of it, you know, to give them a break every now and again, but they don't have the luxury that OU has with Mudler and Carmichael.
Oklahoma with Scott Mudler as well, who's had some really nice games recently when he has caught. And now Oklahoma, the offense, it's a good problem to have. You're getting more guys healthy, and you're kind of doing some matchups things with some of the bats in your lineup as Beyond chases a high fastball.
Yeah, with Spikerman coming back, and that frees Walk up for pinch running and doing some things like that. You know, kind of like Spikerman did in that last game at home against Kansas State. Came in and stole a base, and then, you know, Walk provides the same type of speed and base running capabilities.
Two and 1 to Mion. El Paso Community College. He is now 1 for 9 in 3 games against Oklahoma this year.
It's a pretty good pitch right there. I don't know how he laid off of that one.
I think both teams' bullpens are going to be active just about all night long. Oklahoma continues to have activity out there. On the move is Johnson as the pitch is fouled out by Mauricio Millon. Solid mustache on Mauricio. There you see the activity out there. Carter Campbell, the senior lefty for Oklahoma. Throw to second base will not matter, as it is ball 4, I believe. I never saw the official call from the plate umpire, and Mauricio Millon is asking about it right now. Joseph Brown says it's a walk, so the throw to second doesn't matter. Well, I didn't see a strike called.
Yeah, usually in that situation, they'll, as a catcher, you'll ask the umpire for a quick call. Keith said that way you don't have to throw it down if you don't need to. But like you said, I didn't see an emphatic call one way or the other.
So 2 walks in the inning issued by Will Karsten. And an opportunity for David Johnson, who walked his first time. There's a ball low. Three walks issued by Sooners tonight. 1-1 on Johnson. Fouled out of play. That'll send it to 1-2. $14 doubles for David Johnson this year. That is tied for second in the American Athletic Conference. And there's strike 3 called. A high strike at the letters. And that's a big strikeout for Will Karsten.
Yeah, tough one right there. That pitch looked like it might have been up a little bit. David Johnson thought it was too, but that's bell high. I mean, you don't get that call very often anymore. You know, belt a little bit above, even a little above the belt is still a strike. But
yeah, you could tell Johnson was worried about it. He started to kind of lean up and out, make himself look a little taller. So it's 2 gone, 2 men on. And here's the cleanup man, Derek Williams. Williams singled through the right side out into right field with a hit and run on his first time. Leading this team with 10 home runs. Wichita State has hit 39 as a team. Oklahoma has hit 49 home runs. Crowd grumbling a little bit about that one.
Little inside turn. You know, he doesn't have to throw that ball down there. If he clears the rubber with that front leg, he can just walk off the mound. I don't know. Does that count as a pitch violation if you don't throw it?
No.
Does it keep going?
You can do that once.
Step off once, right?
Yeah. Here's a strike to Williams. Well, a walk loads the bases and would be the 3rd walk of the inning issued by Will Karsten. Look at Brian Green. Three walks in the inning now by Will Karsten, and the bases are loaded.
Pitch looked pretty similar to the one Johnson struck out on.
Big opportunity here for the first baseman, Ryan Callahan. Redshirt junior from Overland Park, Kansas, with the bases loaded. Camden Johnson down at third base. Mauricio Millan at second, and Derek Williams at first. Callahan grounded out to Anthony McKenzie at third, his first time up. Out in front of that one.
Good off-speed pitch there by Will. Heading to count, just don't want to leave something out over the plate with an 0-2 count. Try to get him to chase something here.
That will get your attention. About 92 miles an hour up around your hard hat. Two and two now.
Be interesting to see what Skip goes to here. 2-2. Not wanting to go 3-2, but usually whatever you throw 2-2, you end up throwing 3-2.
just got a piece of that one to keep the at bat alive. Callahan. Already some drama in this game. A lot of base traffic for the Shockers. They have not yet taken advantage of it. Well hit straightaway center field, but Spikerman's got plenty of real estate and can run. And the inning's over. Shockers leave them loaded. They've stranded 5 through their first 3 turns at the plate tonight, and we're scoreless, headed to the bottom.
The Sooners have been 6-0 in Big 12 play, sweeping UCF at home, and then the number 12 ranked Horned Frogs in Fort Worth. Well, after dropping a 3 series, Oklahoma has rebounded with the 7-game win streak, including sweeps of Kansas State and BYU this weekend in Utah. While OU's 4 conference sweeps marks the first time in program history the Sooners have swept 4 series in a season since the dawn of the Big 12 in 1996. Well, Oklahoma holds a 14-4 record against conference foes, sitting alone in first place at the top of the Big 12. Chad, they host the Longhorns this weekend, so let's see if they can keep it rolling.
Thank you, Carly. Yes, a huge series with Texas coming to town. The Longhorns, as we said, tied for second. So there are more conference series this year with the addition of the new teams in the league, and Sooners with Houston and BYU, Cincinnati in the league, but still they have 4 series left. Like Texas and then 3 more, and they've already swept 4 conference foes, Rich.
Yeah, it's been impressive so far what they've done in conference play. Like you're talking about, Texas being tied for second with West Virginia and OSU, they could separate themselves a little bit more from that top if they can get 2 out of 3 or a sweep of Texas.
Oklahoma has the top RPI of any team in the Big 12, number 22 in RPI. And games like this are important because of where you are as far as maybe being a national seed and a regional host. You see 22 in the RPI out today as Jackson Willits goes after that 2-2 pitch, and he's down on strikes. The 3rd strikeout for Daniel Zhang since he entered the contest. An opening strikeout for Willits here in the 3rd.
He just got fooled. That's that changeup again. See him going down and away, arm side run to that left-hander. That's a tough pitch to hit. You really got to stay back and try to work the other way.
Here's Isaiah Lane getting the start at second base tonight. So you talk about RPI and you talk about being a regional host. Just because you are in the top 16 in the RPI is not a guarantee that you'll be one of the 16 national seeds in the NCAA tournament. We're kind of talking about this with Skip Johnson a little bit earlier. You get to midweek games, especially late in the season, and you might want to get some younger guys some at bats in the midweek. It's not a conference, but you can't afford to lose these midweek games because of the RPI situation, Rich.
Yeah, and if you lose to a team, with a really high RPI, it doesn't help yours out any. So you got to try to make sure you win these games, and it's tough to do when you're using so many pitchers, 6, 7 on a midweek game to get that consistency in there.
Lane takes a called strike.
Like talking about, we're at that point of the season where you just got to keep the pedal down and try to win everything. Being a host is a big deal and a huge advantage for your team.
There's ball 4 to Isaiah Lane, a 1-out walk. And as we said with Zane, walks have been a bit of a problem. He has 3 strikeouts tonight, so he's got 30 strikeouts on the season, but that's his 24th walk for Zane. You see the Sooners have been solid in the midweek. You would say 5-3 is solid, especially you play the Dallas Baptists, you play the UT Arlingtons, teams that are going to have solid RPIs. ORU is not having a good year, but they went to the College World Series last year. That's Oral Roberts, and Oklahoma's had them a couple of times.
Yeah, and you throw OSU in there.
Right. Non-conference
for a non-conference game, yeah. I mean, OU's strength of schedule is way up there, too. So, I mean, that helps with the RPI, as long as you can keep winning.
Oklahoma's strength of schedule is 10 coming into the night. John Spikerman grounded out to Jordan Rogers, the second baseman, his first time.
Having a good strength of schedule also, helps with a little bit of the RPI stuff and selection committee. They look at that stuff. What kind of schedule you might have 45 wins but didn't play anybody. It's kind of opposite for the UTAs and the Dallas Baptists. They schedule tough non-conference games because their conferences aren't as strong as Big 12, the SEC, and some of the other main conferences.
First trip to the mound. Good staff Brian Green has. Anthony Claggett. Got Clay Overcash, who was on Skip Johnson's Oklahoma staff for 6 years, also on this Wichita State staff. Clay Overcash was on the Oklahoma staff for the 2022 run to the College World Series runner-up. There's the first visit. Drew Iverson is loosening out of the bullpen for the Shockers. Skip Johnson coaching first base tonight. Seen him a couple of times. Todd Butler likely on the road doing a little recruiting tonight, Rich.
Yeah, that'd definitely be the case. That recruiting never sleeps. Nowadays you got to stay on top of new guys and be able to recruit guys out of the portal and transfers and everything else.
And then the season ends, you got to re-recruit your own players. This one inside to Spikerman. First start since March 16th.
Spikerman was 2 for 5 in that first meeting against Wichita State way back.
And he was out and missed the second game after his surgery.
March. I think that was early March, wasn't it?
March the 2nd, or beg your pardon, March the 5th and April the 2nd, the 2 meetings.
He's glad to be back, though. It's tough when you're a main cog in an offense and defense, for that matter, to have to sit back and watch for so long.
Sooners are still without Carter Frederick, as Spikerman draws a walk. Back-to-back walks to Isaiah Lane and John Spikerman here with one away in the third. Carter Frederick's got a soft cast on.
I think it's going to be a while for him.
Yeah, no timetable for Carter Frederick, but he's a guy who's batting .343 when he got hurt.
Yeah, his power potential. You put him and Snyder in the lineup together, and of course with Madron the way he's been going, that's why I think they're going to make a pitching change here.
Yes,
they're not going to take a chance.
Do it for Zhang, who's going to leave with one away and runners at first and second. So we saw what Zhang is, the wild card, as Brian Green told us. A lot of strikeouts, but a lot of walks. 2 walks here in this inning lead to his exit. And the new pitcher for the Shockers coming on. We'll tell you about him when we return. And just to kind of put a bow on Oklahoma's postseason resume, as we told you, their strength of schedule is 10, their RPI 22. D1 baseball has it projected as a number 2 seed. 5-2 against the top 25, and 5-0 against teams that went to the College World Series last year. Got that 3-game sweep of TCU, beaten Oral Roberts a couple of times. Sooners project to a number 2 seed as of now. Still a long way to go, as we said. 4 conference series left, including Texas this weekend here in Norman. Left-hander Drew Iverson is in out of the bullpen. He'll be the 3rd pitcher tonight for the Shockers. Jack Mount started and went an inning. Then Daniel Zhang for an inning and a third. And we see the big freshman left-hander. Drew Iverson has pitched in all 3 games between these teams now. 4 total innings. He gave 2 hits and an earned run to Oklahoma in the meeting here in Norman back on March the 5th. Crowd just settling in, only in the 3rd. A lot of base runners, not a lot of hits. But there have been multiple walks by both staffs. And the Sooners trying to take advantage of walks. Bryce Madron hit by pitch his first time. Stole second and third and then was left stranded back in the first.
I think they brought him in for this left-on-left matchup with Madron. I think Madron needs to try to look the other way here. Try to shoot that 6-hole.
One and one to Bryce Madron. 7 RBI game over the weekend. You had a couple of those, didn't you?
I don't know about 7. I know I had some 5s in there, mixed in there. Maybe a 6.
Two balls and a strike to Madron. Isaiah Lane out there at second, as you just saw. He walked. Madron, a deep drive to right field. It is way back to the wall, and it is off the wall. Rounding third, headed to the plate is Lane. He'll slide in safely. It'll be an RBI double for Bryce Madron, who continues to be red hot for the Sooners.
A good piece of hitting there. He turned on. Looked like he got in on him a little bit while the ball didn't get out of here. Got the head out, but just got in on him just a little bit. Spikerman was holding up just in case close to the bag, and Madron ran up behind him, had to wait for see if Spikerman was going to go to third or not.
They almost ran into him. But as you said, Spikerman making sure that Stroh didn't catch that. Not a dead pull hitter, but a lot of them in that same spot this season for Spikerman. Here's Carmichael, rockets one up the middle. This is likely going to plate 2. Touching the plate is Spikerman, and around third comes Madron. It'll be a 2-run single for Easton Carmichael, and the Sooners lead 3-0 in the third.
Carmichael just ambushed him right there. Fastball, drove it back up the middle, hard ground ball up the middle. Easy for Madron and Spikerman to score there.
Easton Carmichael, 2 more runs driven in. He's now got 36 on the year. Sooner offense able to take advantage of the walks. 2 walks in the inning. They have both come in to score. Here is Michael Snyder. Snyder hit a pop-up, caught by the right fielder Seth Stroh his first time.
You got to keep an eye on Carmichael over there. He can run for a catcher. He's got 7 stolen bases this year.
Snyder, 45 runs driven in, 8 home runs, and batting .343. What a pickup he was from the University of Washington. Last weekend against BYU, 7 of 10 with 4 runs driven in, and had 3 doubles in that series.
Iverson's going to have to be careful here. Of course, it doesn't get any easier with McKenzie and Nicholas behind him. Snyder, like I said, he's got some serious home run power.
We'll flip over to first. Iverson never came set there. Skip Johnson right there at first with Easton Carmichael. There goes Carmichael. The pitch is up and away, and a one-hop throw is not in time. That is the 8th stolen base for the Sooner catcher, Easton Carmichael. Sooners have stolen 3 bases off Mian tonight.
He he got a good jump there, and Iverson kind of had a little bit of a slide step there. I thought they might have a better play at second than that, but Carmichael had a huge lead and a good jump. Gets in there safely.
There's a strike to Snyder. And that is ball 4. First base open. That is 3 walks in the inning issued by the Shockers.
And like you were saying, so far OU's been able to take advantage of the walks, and the Shockers haven't.
It's the first one issued by Iverson after Zhang walked 2. And here is Anthony McKenzie, struck out looking against Daniel Zhang back in the second. So he faces Iverson for the first time tonight. Anthony's got a modest 7-game hitting streak, and over that hitting streak he's nearly batting .500, and he's driven in 11 runs. Shockers have had his number, though. He's 0 for 8 now in the 3 games between the teams this year.
So he's due.
Little pop up. That is foul by third and caught by Camden Johnson. 2 down. Oklahoma with an RBI double by Madron and a 2-run single by Carmichael here in the inning. Jackson Nicholas trying to continue things. He struck out his first time. When you've had to take a few games off, as Nicholas, Spikerman have, what's important when you jump back in there, Rich? Not trying to go 500 in 1 at bat or hit a big home run.
Yeah, just try to work on tracking the ball. Make sure you're seeing it before you commit to a swing. Good way to do that is being able to start your backside so your hands don't commit as much. You know, working on your timing on deck. You know, being able to try to get some timing before you get in the box helps also, but the big thing is work on tracking the ball.
Nicholas takes a strike from Drew Iverson. .375 with 7 home runs for Jackson Nicholas. Count will stay 1-2 on the DH tonight. Jackson Nicholas.
I'm sure Reggie would like to see him get another hit or find a gap here and get that lead to 4 or 5.
That one sails behind him, and the runners will each move up a base. Well, if you're going to throw one wild, get your money's worth.
Yeah, it's like almost what happened earlier. It's like the ball is, I mean, it's not so humid that the ball's getting condensation on it for sure.
It was warm down on the field, though, today. It temperature around 80, 82 degrees, and that turf gets heated up.
It's not as bad on the turf as it is in the grass.
Yeah, the humidity. Nicholas lifts the 2-2 pitch into left field. Lucart tracking it, and the inning is over. But Oklahoma gets 3 on 2 hits. They also leave a pair out there. It's 3-0 Oklahoma, moving to the...
Visit trailsgolf.com. Pizza Hut, the official pizza of the Sooners.
3-0. Oklahoma leads it. We move to the 4th. And the Shockers have had their opportunities tonight. They left 2 men on in the first, left the bases loaded in the 3rd. And Will Karsten back out there for Oklahoma, going to work against the second baseman, Jordan Rogers.
You'd like to see OU put up a 0 right here after scoring. Anytime you score, you'd like to come back and shut the opposing offense down that next half inning.
Rogers slices this one foul. He got hit by a pitch his first time. Had that play where he tried to steal third and actually looked like he might have had the bag, but he slid past it, and Anthony McKenzie tagged him. Now that was a big difference maker at the time, because Wichita State would have been set up with a runner at third and nobody out, and instead that was the first out, and Brandon Girton was able to strike out the next 2 guys. Two balls, 2 strikes to Rogers. Robinson, Texas native, is Rogers. And a full count to him, moving from the outfield to second base. And Brian Green was talking about learning the throwing angle at second base, Rich.
Yeah, talking about him being able to throw from a little bit lower slot. That really helps when turning double plays coming from the left side, turning it at second. But you got to kind of create a little bit of a different angle. You know, you can stay more over the top from third and short, but a lot of times you're running away from the bag at second base. You got to be able to drop down and get it over there.
That throw from second, shortest one that you can make most times for an out, but sometimes it can get in a person's head. We've seen multiple big-time, big league guys who just can't make that throw.
Yeah, and guys that made it for a long time, then all of a sudden lose it.
Like having the yips putting in golf. That is smashed to straightaway center field. Spikerman leaps, but it's over his head and it's gone. Jordan Rogers, a home run to straightaway center field, and John Spikerman is still down out there on the warning track in his first start since returning from injury. But a blast by Jordan Rogers makes it a 3-1 game.
Yeah, that ball really hit. Wind's not hardly blowing out at all. I mean, you could hear it up here. He caught that ball perfect to get it out to the biggest part of the ballpark. Spikerman made a good play for it, just barely out of his reach.
Now it is his right hand, his non-glove hand, and it looked like it was just pinned up against the wall. So you think about the pain and re-injury with that hamate surgery Spikerman had. Looks like he's going to stay in the game, but that Will Karsten will not stay in the game. Big home run from Jordan Rogers, his 6th of the year. Shockers right back in it. Skip Johnson going to the bullpen for the second time. He'll summon reliable lefty Carter Campbell. Will step aside for a brief timeout. Carter Campbell, the senior out of Keller, Texas, coming in from the bullpen for Skip Johnson to try to stabilize things after the solo blast by Jordan Rogers. What's necessary here for Carter Campbell?
Well, same as has been for everybody else so far. Come in and throw strikes. I mean, he's got 24 strikeouts and 11 walks. Just needs to come in and throw strikes. That we were talking about earlier. Wichita hadn't been able to take care of or take advantage of the walks. You know, only end up with a solo home run with nobody on, but the OU pitching's got to get back in the zone and fill it up and not walk guys.
Oklahoma has walked 3 and hit a batter in this game. And as you said, Rich, Sooners are fortunate there was not a shocker aboard. That's the one problem for Wichita State is they've left 5 men stranded tonight. And that bullpen just kind of be percolating all night long for Skip Johnson. Braden Lucart is set to stand in. So Jordan Rogers with a blast to center field. And there's not much wind tonight. Skip Johnson going to reliable Carter Campbell. This is his 81st career appearance. That is tied for 5th in University of Oklahoma history. Made 34 appearances last year, 31 on the College World Series team in 2022. Carter Campbell back out there, 16th appearance. That is tied for the most on this year's Sooner team. Lucart struck out his first time. Pulled to first. Charging hard, Snyder. That was nicely done. Came and got that ball.
Yeah, you see a hop, you go get it. You know, a lot of times on the turf, guys sit back, end up creating a middle hop for themselves. It's good job being aggressive on that ground ball.
Seth Stroh will be the batter. The Wichita State right fielder struck out looking against Brendan Girton back in the second. Tapped foul. What makes Carter Campbell so effective, Rich? If you're just looking at him, he doesn't throw overly hard.
No, but he's good. He locates, throw strikes. That's why he's been able to come in and have so many appearances over the last couple of years. He's able to locate his fastball and good with his off speed. Sometimes it's just as easy as throwing strikes. Let your stuff work, not try to overthrow it. That's where guys get in trouble. Try to overthrow a slider, hang it, get hit. Throw at your speed, stay within yourself, and let the ball work.
Shockers have been able to play a bunch of different guys. You make out a chart for guys you think might play and take your notes, as we nerdy play-by-play guys typically do before every game. And it's hard to get them all in on your sheet. And Coach Brian Green said that was by design. He said they wanted to play as many guys as possible, and they have. And there are those who are a big part of things at the beginning of the year who may not be now. But when you're building a program, you want to have those building block guys. And this has been a season of discovery, hasn't it?
Yeah, when you have that many guys, especially new guys, you got to sort through them, give them an opportunity. The college season is not that long, so you got to try to sort through it. Like he was saying, hopefully they can get into the tournament and see where all the chips land in May and June and figure out what they need to do to get better next year.
Strikeout there for Karsten, so he's retired the first 2 Shockers he has faced, and he'll work to Cam Durnan, who walked his first time. 5 strikeouts now for Sooner pitching. Lined over to the Shockers dugout, keeping everybody on their toes over there. Carter Campbell in his 3rd year at Oklahoma. This one swung on by Durnan. Fly ball to shallow right field. Long run in for Madron, but he'll chase it down. The inning is over. Leadoff home run by Jordan Rogers, getting the shot ball. Series history, it's a lengthy one between these two sides, including a neutral site game played between them at Rosenblatt Stadium at the College World Series, in which you played and homered, right,
yeah,
Rich?
That's right. My freshman year. Only bad thing is we lost to Texas twice in that World Series, and three times during the regular season. That was my one World Series highlight in '92. That's for sure.
And it's kind of one-sided depending upon what town that you're in. Sooners have won 15 of 18 here in Norman, and Oklahoma winning both games this year. Sooners able to win the game here 5-3, and then they won 11-2 up in Wichita. Mason Munns comes out of the bullpen. Right-hander set to go to work for the Shockers. He is the fourth pitcher in as many innings for Wichita State as expected. We've seen Jack Mount, Daniel Zhang, Drew Iverson, and now Mason Munns. He'll work to Sooner left fielder Kendall Pettis. Numbers for the junior from Kingman, Kansas, Mason Munns. Munns went to Cloud County Community College. Really good ERA. Not that many innings, but man, you'll take an ERA of 2 in 9 innings. Mason Munns pitched a third of an inning in the meeting between these teams up in Wichita, and he gave up 2 runs. Kendall Pettis is 0 for 1. Flied out to the center fielder David Johnson back in the second.
I'd like to see Kendall get going the second half of the season.
He had a hit in each game of the BYU series over the weekend. And hit by that pitch. In fact, it may have knocked his guard off as it hit him.
Yeah, might hit that Velcro just right. Took it off for him. That's just a breaking ball. Yeah, just
You're right.
unsnapped it for him. Hit that Velcro.
It unvelcroed it.
Yeah, just right. One less thing for him to do.
Yeah. So he walks down. He puts the sliding glove on his hand. You go from one guard to another guard. How many guards did you wear?
None.
No guards.
Nope.
If you had it to do, if you were playing today, would you wear one on that front side?
I would probably wear that elbow guard.
Yeah.
Like when I coached here, we made everybody wear them, just to be able to take those pitches and to be able to avoid injury.
Jackson Willits is in. I mean, there are certain spots where you just can't protect while you're batting. You know, Spikerman gets hit by a pitch down there around the wrist and that hamate bone. But if it doesn't impact you, why not protect? Ripped on a hop, but speared by Rogers. He'll flip it over to Durnan, and the Shockers are able to turn their 29th double play of the season.
Yeah, that one's tailor-made. One hopper to the second baseman. It doesn't get much easier than that. No bat offs on the turf. You know, you get there on the dirt all day long. You got to get that foot rake out, try to smooth everything out, make sure you don't get any bad hops out there.
Brian Green has liked the way his team has defended this year. Double play number 29. Committed 42 errors. He'll take 29 double plays, though. Played 40 games. As Isaiah Lane is in, he walked and scored his first time. It's another option that Skip Johnson's going to have as well. When everybody gets fully healthy and positionally, Isaiah Lane's been out there at second, but you would imagine that Jackson Nicholas will be out there maybe over the weekend against Texas. But Lane has shown that he can swing it, he can defend. As he bounces this one to Rogers. Inning over. A leadoff hit batsman erased on a double play. We're through 4. Oklahoma leads 3-1. And Sooner Big schedule this season in conference play. They're sitting in a 4-way tie for 4th place. 9th-ranked East Carolina, UTSA having a really good year on the Roadrunners, and then Charlotte in a big series for Brian Green's team against Tulane this weekend. 3-game set. Shockers will be hosting. He said we'll have 2 days of practice and then let it rip against the Green Wave. play this Tuesday game. You travel home at night, and then you get 2 good days of practice before you settle back into American Athletic Conference play.
Got to keep an eye on them boys down there in New Orleans. Tulane.
Good traditional program. You know, they've had some ups and downs, but
been good for a long time.
They have had it going for a long time. Rick Jones was the longtime coach down there.
I remember them being pretty good even when I played.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
You said one of your former teammates, longtime big leaguer Russ Ortiz, is here tonight.
Yeah, he's here. I didn't even know he was coming in town. We have a group chat with most of the 94 guys on there, even some other guys that weren't on that team, but we keep in pretty good contact. You know, Russ is good to the program. He's obviously a great big league pitcher. Had really good stuff when he was here too, obviously, but he's Doc B's best friend on Saturday. I know that.
Pizza party day with Russ Ortiz on Saturday and Doc B. But Doc B always comes up to the booth and shares with us.
Yeah, he'll bring us a cold piece.
Yep.
That one weekend it was cold. It was pretty cold. It wasn't his fault.
Yes.
This weekend might be a little better as far as pizza temperature.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the weather as this one is pulled to second by Camden Johnson, and he's thrown out by the Sooner second baseman tonight, Isaiah Lane.
Like I said, there's a chance for some weather this weekend. I think it's going to be hit and miss. You just never know around here this time of year where it's going to be or what it's going to do.
Who would have expected tonight? Woke up this morning and it was howling with a south wind, and then it's kind of died off.
Yeah, now the flags in center field are barely moving.
Barely moving. You know, on top of the stadium, they get a little rougher treatment up there.
Yeah, smaller flags too.
Yes. Mauricio Millon, the catcher, walked back in the third.
I know after a full season, those flags out there in center field, they got to be replaced. They're all wind blown, torn up. You know, it's a tough place to play. Early in the year, it's blowing in. Later in the year, it's blowing out. Tough on fly balls.
Ripped to third, and a leaping stab by Anthony McKenzie for out number 2.
Good timing. Thought the ball might pop out there at the end. Just a line drive, a little bit of top spin, brought it back down to him, but he's fully stretched there. Nice play. Like you talked about earlier today, he's so athletic. He can play short. He can play, I mean, I'm not too sure he can't play the outfield too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd be consistent outfield, not a burner out there, but he's athletic enough to do it all.
And man, that helps when it comes draft time.
Yes.
And you've got a guy to say, where can he play?
And you just
pray. Well, he can play here, he can play there, and they go, no, really, where can he play?
And you just pray if you're Anthony McKenzie that's a National League team.
Yes.
Because you have a lot more opportunity as a utility guy with the National League team, especially if you can play infield and outfield or infield and catch. You know, you save the extra, roster spots for a couple extra pitchers and a couple less utility guys.
This one in the air to left. Kendall Pettis goes back on this ball, and Johnson flies out. So it is 6 up and 6 down for Carter Campbell on the mound. And the Sooners take a 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Air Comfort Solutions bringing you this look around the Big 12. UCF kind of getting roughed up here recently in the Big 12, but able to go out of non-conference play and get a victory. TCU, they've had their struggles in conference play this year, just 8 and 13, but looking at a non-conference win tonight. And then these matchups, Kansas leading Nebraska, Baylor and Sam Houston State, Utah and BYU just kind of getting things cranked up, and Texas leading UT Arlington, Clay Van Hook's UT Arlington team, which came to Norman last week. And the Longhorns will be in Norman for a 3-game series this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with the Sooners. Back out to the mound and make it 5 pitchers in 5 innings for the Shockers. This is Peyton Walters, right-hander. Top of the lineup for the Sooners brings John Spikerman in to lead things off in the 5th. Spikerman walked and then scored on a double by Bryce Madron. Or beg your pardon, on a base hit by Easton Carmichael. Just 6 2/3 innings, but a solid ERA for Peyton Walters. Oh, 0-2 on Spikerman. Walters is out of Garden City, Kansas, and spent some junior college time in Garden City. We saw Spikerman crash hard into the center field wall, trying to chase down that home run by Jordan Rogers in the top of the 4th. But looks like he's all right. Spikerman just flips another one foul and out of play. Was batting .389 at the time of his injury, missed 16 games, and then Spikerman came back to pinch run in the Kansas State series. Got the at bat late in the Saturday game against BYU. And 2-2 on them here. Spikerman 2 years ago had an injury that sidelined him until late in the season. A little earlier that he came back, a little earlier than this, and he was a vital cog in OU's run to Omaha. He takes a called strike 3. So Peyton Walters strikes out the first man he faces here in the 5th.
That just froze him on the inside there. Looked like he was kind of surprised.
Shockers' 5th strikeout. 3 of them came from Daniel Zhang in his inning and a third out there. And here's Madron. Madron had an RBI double his first time, and then scored on Easton Carmichael's base hit 1 batter later. Two and 0 to Madron. He has walked 32 times and been hit by a pitch 5 times. Shoots this one in the air to left field. Wind not going to do much with it. And Braden Lucart will take care of the second out in the 5th inning. So Madron now is 1 for 2. And Easton Carmichael will be the Sooner batter. First meeting between these two teams, which the Sooners won 5-2 in Norman. Carmichael provided the big blow for Oklahoma. Hit a home run, drove in 3 runs in that victory. He has provided the biggest hit in this game. A 2-run single in the 3rd. That is a foul ball picked up by Camden Johnson. Even the count at 1-1. We're talking with Brian Green, the Wichita State coach, about Oklahoma. He knows them as well as anybody, having seen them twice. He said, I thought they were one of the most athletic teams in the country when we saw them the first time. That is when Oklahoma had Spikerman, and they also had Carter Frederick at that point. Oklahoma can run. When your catcher's stolen 10 bases, You are a problem. As Carmichael skies this one to right. Drifting near the line. Racing in comes Seth Stroh. And it's a 1-2-3 inning in the 5th for Peyton Walters on the mound for Wichita State. 3-1 Oklahoma. Junior right-hander out of Lufkin, Texas, Reed Hensley. Reed Hensley, Oklahoma is his 3rd stop. He was at Incarnate Word in 2021. Then last year, Tyler Junior College. And he was part of a combined no-hitter for the Sooners earlier this year. On the Friday night of the West Virginia series, he and Braden Davis combined on that no-hitter. He's been good out of the bullpen, Rich.
Yeah, he throws a lot of strikes. 18 strikeouts, 9 walks in 11 1/3 innings. ERA is still pretty low, 3.18. He comes in, and like we talk about every Tuesday, come in and throw strikes. And he's got pretty good off speed. He'll run it up there low 90s. So he's got good stuff.
Good outing for Carter Campbell. 2 scoreless innings with a strikeout. Didn't allow a base runner. Stabilizing things for the Sooners and did not give a walk. Maybe most importantly, Carter Campbell in his 2 innings. And now Hensley, he'll face the middle third of the Shockers lineup here in the 6th. Derek Williams has been on base both times he's come to the plate. And that's been a consistent theme for him this year. He's batting .321 with 10 home runs. Singled in the 1st and then walked in the 3rd. One and 2 on the DH tonight, Derek Williams. Williams homered here in Norman back on March the 5th against Oklahoma. This is that point of the evening, Rich, where we've had $2 concessions here at the ballpark and everybody's kind of full and they're sitting back kind of in their seats. It's a little bit like Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, the concession lines aren't quite as long. Everybody's full and satisfied, except us. Big hack at that fastball. Williams is down on strikes.
Good pitch up by Hensley. Gets him chase fastball up. High fastball, can't catch up with it. That's what he does. He gets ahead, gets guys to chase.
Here is Ryan Callahan, 0 for 2 in this one. Bouncing ball to 3rd, played by McKenzie. He'll pivot. That is 8 Shockers in a row retired between Carter Campbell and Reed Hensley now.
Yeah, nice play by McKenzie there. He keeps coming straight across. He plays himself in the middle hop. He drop steps and creates more room, gets a big hop, and makes a good throw to 1st.
So 8 straight retired since the home run by this man, Jordan Rogers. He smashed one straightaway center field in the 4th for the lone Shockers run. Time called there by Easton Carmichael. I think maybe the communication was a little slow or he didn't get it. But Reed Hensley deals a strike. Rogers' home run, his 6th of the year. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, so he's been on base twice. And he did not go around on that one. Now they're going to appeal, and it's confirmed by Scott Chesser, the first base umpire. No swing. Reed Hensley trying to work a 1-2-3 inning. That one's pretty well hit. This time more toward right center. Spikerman journeys back, and this one bounces on the warning track and then off the wall. Rogers is going to turn around second. He'll try for 3, and he'll make it standing with a triple. Jordan Rogers follows a home run with a triple.
I think that's walk in center field. Spikerman might have re-injured that hand. He was kind of...
You're right, that is walk out there. We were not notified of the change, but it is walk. You see right there.
During Spikerman's last at bat, he's kind of shaking his right hand a little bit, like testing his grip, squeeze a little bit.
You know, we were told he would only go 5 innings tonight, Spikerman, so maybe be ready to go 9 over the weekend against Texas, but Jason Walk now out there in center field. And Braden Lukart is the batter. What a night for Jordan Rogers, Rich. A homer and a triple.
Yeah, he's in both the center field. It's a big part of the ballpark. You got to get it out there.
Second triple of the year for Rogers. Lukart is 0 for 2 tonight, and he's in a hole 0-2 against Reed Hensley. Braden Lukart facing 0-2. Lukart, as we told you earlier, spent a redshirt season here at Oklahoma in 2022, the year that Sooners went all the way to the College World Series final game before being defeated by Ole Miss. Strike 3 called. Inning over. 2-out triple by Jordan Rogers, but he's left stranded there. And 2
OG&E and Coca-Cola.
Sooner Baseball brought to you by OU Health, proud to be Oklahoma's flagship academic health system. That looks full to me. Rich, you ready to howl?
No, but when those sirens go off on Saturday, my dog does.
No doubt. New pitcher on for the Shockers here. So make it 6 pitchers in 6 innings. Ronald Zayas, a senior from Miami, Florida. 6'1", 220 pounds. This will be his 6th appearance. Only 5 innings pitched. A lot of guys who haven't thrown many innings, but this is that opportunity to get some out of them here tonight.
And it's like you're talking about with Coach Green. He just keeps running guys out there. You know, they might get an inning here, inning there. Just still trying to get a feel for all the new guys on his team.
Zayas spent time in junior college at Middle Georgia State College. He'll face Michael Snyder, who is 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. Eight home runs for the powerful redshirt senior from Woodland Hills, California. Three balls and a strike now. Snyder popped up to the right fielder Seth Stroh in the first, and then he walked in the third. And it's a leadoff walk in the Sooners' 6th inning. Second time that Michael Snyder has drawn a free pass in this game. That will get Anthony McKenzie to the plate. He is 0 for 2 with a strikeout in this one. Is that the Pina Colada song that they're playing for Anthony McKenzie's walk-up music?
It
Rich?
sounds like
an
it.
Interesting one.
heard that one.
Rupert Holmes sings that one. Yeah.
Heard it a million times, but I didn't know who sung it.
I'm not sure you needed to know, but I threw it up there anyway. Just an interesting one for a college kid in 2024.
Yeah, for sure. It's usually something we've never heard of.
Exactly. Ooh, that throw gets away as Callahan tried to grab it, but the ball arrived at about the same time as Michael Snyder. And we'll have to look again. Maybe that hit Snyder on the way over.
Might have went off his glove and then hit him.
Either way, Sooners have a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Yeah, I think he just mishandled it.
I'm with you. So that'll be an error on either Zayas or Callahan. An error charge to the pitcher, Zayas. McKenzie swats this one right at the left fielder Lucart for the first out. I mean, he stung that ball.
Yeah, he hit that ball well. Bad thing is it wasn't to right field or deep center field where we could tag and get to third on that. But all you can do is hit it hard. You can't control where it goes all the time. But as a left-handed hitter right there, I'm trying to get up on the plate and yank something to the right side. Worst case scenario, get him over. Best case scenario, get a base hit and drive man.
Jackson Nicholas hitless in 2 trips to the plate tonight. He struck out in the second, flied to left field in the third. And he turns on this one and hits it off somebody's windshield in the parking lot. Moving around pretty good tonight is Nicholas. Keeps looking at that right hand. Pretty locked in on that swing.
Yeah, just got around it a little too much. Hooked it.
Nicholas batting .372, leading the Sooners in hitting coming into this game.
He's having a great year. Putting up good power numbers, driving balls in the gap.
7 home runs for Jackson Nicholas. One and 2 now the count. Sooners got 3 runs in the bottom of the third. Bryce Madron with an RBI double and Easton Carmichael with a 2-run single. Shockers got their run on a solo home run by Jordan Rogers in the top of the 4th inning.
Delayed on that one.
Called strike 3 though. And out number 2.
I mean, it looked like a good pitch. I mean, if it's over the plate, it's a strike. But yeah, that might have been down and away a little bit. The catcher does a pretty good job of framing it, giving the umpire a good look at it.
That is the 5th strikeout for Wichita State pitching tonight. And Kendall Pettis slashes at the first pitch from Zayas. Pettis 0 for 1. Got hit by a pitch in the 4th. Flied to center field in his first trip to the plate back in the 2nd. Shockers have retired 7 of the last 8 Sooner hitters. Only the walk to Michael Snyder intervened. Snyder's out there at second base now with 2 gone. this. Right between the legs of the pitcher, Zayas, but positioned perfectly was Jordan Rogers, the second baseman. And the inning is over. A man left after a walk. We're through 6, and Oklahoma leads it 3-1. Tonight, Sooners have retired 8 of the last 9 batters for Wichita State. Carson Atwood set to go to work here. Atwood, senior from Ardmore, Silo High School, and a lot of strikeouts with not many walks. You see, he has 20 strikeouts and only 8 walks for the season. That's why he's been so reliable. This is his 77th career appearance. He's got the 10th most appearances in Sooner history. And he deals to Seth Stroh, the right fielder. It's Stroh and then Durnan. And then the top of the order, Camden Johnson, set to stand in for the Shockers. Stroh has struck out twice, once looking and once swinging in this one. Did not go around. Carson Atwood has pitched in all 3 games with Wichita State this year. Foul tip hung on to by Easton Carmichael. But Atwood made 22 appearances 2 seasons ago, 26 last year. And comes out of the bullpen for his 17th appearance this year. Swung on and driven high into right center field, but not deep enough to do any damage. And Bryce Madron grabs the first out in the 7th. Cam Durnan, the shortstop, will be the batter. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. That is 10 of 11 sat down by Sooner pitching. And Durnan takes a strike. Carson Atwood and Carter Campbell tonight, Rich. I mean, these guys reliable for several years. And it's rare to see that in college baseball. You know, typically you see a guy that's 25 appearances, low ERA, off he goes to the draft.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, we have so many good arms that, you know, they find a role and stick with it. And, you know, a lot of these guys are committed to play for Skip, especially a lot of these pitchers, you know, with him being the pitching coach and doing it for so long. Yeah, he just got a chase there, and that good slider, good hard slider breaking off the plate. Like you said, these guys, you know, a lot of them go to the draft, but if they're not sure, you know, they'll try to stay with Skip for another year and try to get even better.
That is 8 strikeouts for Sooner pitching tonight. Sooners have had double-digit strikeouts in 20 of 38 games this year. And Camden Johnson, the third baseman, stands in 0 for 3 with 2 groundouts and a strikeout tonight.
Those numbers just go to show the kind of stuff that these arms have. Like I said, the only issue has been walks at times, but they all have strikeout type stuff.
Pulled down the right field line and lands fair. Headed toward the corner. Rounding third quickly is Johnson. The throw back up and in by Bryce Madron. And it's a 2-out double by the leadoff man, Camden Johnson. And the tying run will come to the plate for the Shockers here in the top of the 7th.
Johnson rounded second there pretty far. Lane didn't come up looking right away on the relay back in. And you come up, you used to teach all of my infielders, and I used to do the same thing. It was taught by Coach Harrison when I played here. Every time you get that ball in from the outfield, you're looking for a throw right away. Catch a guy sleeping or just like that, might have round the base too far. You can pick up some free outs throughout the season.
Mauricio Millon is in, and the pitch is up and in. And that throw coming back in, and as you were talking about, Johnson, the aggressive turn. What's the communication like from your teammates there, letting you know where you need to go with it?
Well, on a play like that, you should know he's going to be at second. So you catch the ball, try to get around the ball coming in from the outfielder, get it on your glove side, and get a good exchange and whip your head around looking for a throw right away. He kind of caught it off balance and was almost throwing the ball on the run into Willits at second base. You know, an extra base hit, you know, the trail guy on a double cutoff will kind of be helping you, but a good infielder uses his own eyes and not rely on the guy behind him checking the runner as you're running out there for the cutoff.
Beyond having a good year, batting .313, drew that walk back in the third. Oklahoma has not issued a walk since the third inning. That's been a big difference maker. Wichita State had many opportunities. They stranded 5 in the first 3 innings, but they've stranded just 1 since the third. Not many free bases given, and fewer opportunities for Wichita State. But the Shockers have the tying run at the plate. And that one's popped up into shallow right center field. Who's going to get this one? It will be the center fielder. Walk. And the inning is over. 2-out double by Camden Johnson. But Oklahoma at the 7th inning stretch has a 3-1 lead.
To me,
runs in the third, but the bullpen's been solid for Wichita State, holding this powerful Sooner lineup in check, and Garrity on here, Rich, to try to continue that.
Yeah, they've done a really good job, like you said, of keeping this offense down. You only got a couple hits and 3 runs, you know, for an offense that's been scoring quite a bit in the last several weeks.
Garrity has pitched in both games between the Sooners and Shockers this year. Game up in Wichita, he did give 4 walks, leading to 2 earned runs. All 3 Oklahoma runs came in the third. Lone Wichita State run came in the 4th. And Jackson Willits will lead it off for the Sooners. Willits and then Lane, and then it'll be Walk up in the leadoff spot for Spikerman in the 3rd spot here in the order. Jackson Willits struck out in the 3rd and then hit the ball hard, but into a double play in the 4th. That freshman year of college, there, you know, battles with your confidence. You remember what it was like, Rich?
Yeah, I was pretty confident, though. I'll be honest with you.
Not a problem.
I played in a really good high school. Had a really good high school coach. I mean, we were #1 in the country for heck the whole second half of the season. We lost out in the semifinals of the California State playoffs, 6A, but we played a lot of really, really good competition. We hosted a national tournaments. We played like Cherry Creek from Colorado and a bunch of other good teams from out of state. So I mean, I thought originally when I first started playing that it was everybody was going to be 92 on the black, and it really wasn't that way. Of course, I did run into guys like from Wichita State, you know, Jamie Bluma, guys like that, and guys from Texas that were a little overpowering. But on the whole, it wasn't a day in and day out grind at the plate.
Skip Johnson talking about Jackson Willits and regaining his confidence. He said, it's like a battle with the giant. The only problem is sometimes you're the giant. You're your own worst enemy at times.
Yeah, and in the start he got off to, he dug himself a big hole. But in the last month or so, I've been really impressed with the way he's been swinging the bat. And he's always really consistent on defense.
Right at the bag for Callahan to take care of for the first out in the 7th.
So he's progressing. He just got off to a really, really slow start at the plate.
He's had some impressive offensive games, has Willits. Recently had a 2-homer game in the Bedlam series and another 2-homer game in the Kansas State series. So it's there. and he has displayed it more recently. Isaiah Lane, the batter. Lane walked and scored in the third. He's also grounded out to the second baseman, Jordan Rogers.
He's just got to get to the point where he expects it to happen every pitch. You know, you swing and miss, okay, you know, get another one in here because I'm going to hit it.
I mean, there are 3 freshmen in this lineup right now, Rich. You think about that, as potent as they are. Willits, Lane, and now with Walk entering, replacing Spikerman at the top of the order.
Yeah, all hitting back to back to back.
That's hit hard, but on the ground. Vacuumed up by Durnan. The throw goes into the Wichita State dugout. And Lane will be safe.
Yeah, the throw just got away from Durnan there. But I've been impressed with Walk and Isaiah Lane filling in, you know, when they've been playing. You know, Walk obviously for Spikerman. Like I said, this is a pretty hard hit ball to short. I mean, there's no reason to throw that away, but I think part of it is he wasn't sure how good of a runner Isaiah Lane was. He took a couple extra steps, and then you have to really try to rely on your arm, and that's when you make a lot of throwing mistakes.
So for now, they're going to hold Isaiah Lane at first base, but they may be discussing whether or not to give him second.
Yeah.
On that throw.
See if it actually went in or just hit off the outside of the.
Yeah.
But if he just catches the ball and throws it on the first shuffle, he buys himself an extra 15, 20 feet with the runner not making any ground while you're holding the ball.
I think you're right. And you could see Durnan kind of look down at the ball when maybe he didn't get it cleanly out of there. And then the speed of Lane surprised him a tad as well. So here is the first at bat of the night for Walk. Spikerman played the first 5 innings, was 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored.
Yeah, here you get another look at the throw from Durnan. Just up the line. That's really tough for a first baseman, but it just hits off the outside and caroms back into play. So no need for an extra base there.
Jason Walk had a couple of doubles in the BYU series over the weekend. He's shown some pop as well. Homered against Oklahoma State and Kansas State last couple of weekends.
That one he hit against Kansas State, he was fired up. Rounded second. Said him, Lane, you know, Willits has already got a pretty good build on him, but these guys get in the weight room, get stronger. They're only going to get better.
That is roped out into right center field. And the first at bat produces a hit for Jason Walk. Isaiah Lane motors to third, and the Sooners threaten in the 7th inning with runners at the corners and only 1 out.
Good job by Walk there. He squared that ball up. Just stays back right through the middle. Good swing. You know, and that's one of those things, that's one of the hardest things to do in baseball is pinch hit. You know, you got to keep your mind right all game long because you never know when you're going to get your opportunity. You know, it's not like they tell you 2 innings before and you go down to the cage and get a couple swings in. You know, they usually just call your name and you get out there.
Looks like the Shockers are going to the bullpen, and they are. So it'll be the 8th pitcher of the night for Wichita State. Looks like Hunter Holmes will replace Ryan Garrity with 1 out and 2 aboard in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle.
A romantic weekend.
Hunter Holmes, who is among the leaders nationally in appearances. He's top 5 nationally in appearances. He's made 23 of them. This will be 24. That leads the American Athletic Conference. 6'4" junior out of Corona, California. He played 2021 at Cal State San Marcos. That season was canceled. And then Mount San Antonio College, 33 relief appearances. And a good story told by Brian Green to us earlier today that now we will hear as I just think this is an excellent little story, Carly.
It certainly is, Chad. Well, Wichita State and UC Santa Cruz were in the race for Holmes' commitment. Well, when Green and pitching coach Anthony Claggett saw him on video, they called him and said, "Your slot's there. We would like you to drop it down. If you do, we think that you'll lead the country in appearances and have a chance to be a pro." Holmes said okay. He committed to Wichita State, dropped his slot, and has been a left-on-left nightmare for hitters. On top of that, like you said, Coach Green was right. He's one of the national leaders in appearances.
Thank you, Carly. He's pitched in all 3 games now against Oklahoma this year, and sometimes it's just a little tweak or a little. How though would you see that and say, you know, I think if we change this guy's arm slot, he can be dangerous?
Yeah, because he's not overpowering, so you got to try to do something to be a little more deceptive. You know, a lot of times when guys drop down, they get a little bit more arm side run, so his fastball would tail into left-handers more, and his breaking stuff and sliders will frisbee out a little bit more. They might flatten out a little bit more, but get a little more break on it, and it's tough when you have movement both ways on a left-hander or right-hander.
Now, the Sooners have been able to get to him. He's pitched 2 innings combined in the 2 meetings, and he's given up 2 earned runs. And he deals with the reigning Big 12 co-player of the week, Bryce Madron, who's 1 for 2 with a double, an RBI, and a run.
Slurve, slider, curveball right there. Madron kind of backed up on him, stayed on the inside half.
To the second baseman, Rogers. He'll flip it over to Durnan, and the relay is in time. It's the second double play turn by the Shockers tonight, and their 30th of the year. So out of the bullpen, Hunter Holmes does the job. Arm number 5 for Skip Johnson. It is Ryan Lambert, the junior, out of Excelsior, Minnesota. Sparkling ERA of 1.42 for Lambert this year. Is this a guy that can potentially be a closer? Does he have that kind of stuff as you head down the home stretch, Rich?
I think he does. He's only thing is he's walked probably a few too many guys for Skip. But he can cut down on those walks and keep the strikeout numbers up. And he definitely has the stuff to be a closer. Throws really hard, good slider. And he's an aggressive pitcher on the mound. He attacks, just needs to work a little bit more on his control.
He's given only 1 run in his last 10 outings coming out of the bullpen. Was at Northern Iowa Area Community College in 2022, and then Missouri State last year. This is the 3rd time he's pitched against Wichita State this season. Hasn't given up a run to the Shockers. Fans hanging in there on $2 concessions night. And David Johnson, the number 3 batter in the lineup, set to stand in for the Shockers. Wails at the first pitch, lines it right at Kendall Pettis, the Oklahoma left fielder, for the first out. That ball was scalded by David Johnson.
He was ready to hit 95 from Lambert, just flattened the side of that ball out there to left field to Pettis. Pettis made a pretty good play on that. Those low line drives are tough on outfielders.
They can start knuckling on you a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're David Johnson over there and you're watching Lambert warm up and you're seeing 95, are you just licking your chops and saying, I am swinging at that first pitch, I don't care?
Yeah.
You would,
kind of had the same idea here, and he swung and missed. But yeah, if you do a good job on deck getting your timing, you can time it up. But you got to look one pitch or the other early on.
The 0-1 is in there for a called strike.
All right. It's at 99.
99? That got the fans' attention. Hit hard at straightaway center field. This time Walk ventures back and pulls it in. So a couple of hard hit balls squaring up 95, 97 miles an hour, but 2 outs.
I almost said 100. I wonder if that was off the bat.
I don't know. That pitch is coming in. So 2 down. And here is Callahan, who's 0 for 3. He has twice grounded out to Anthony McKenzie down at third base.
Maybe it was. That was 99 right there.
That one registers 101 on the radar gun.
Crazy thing is they're putting some pretty good swings on it.
It is 0-2 here on Ryan Callahan.
If he throws a slider anywhere close.
Yeah. Got a piece of another fastball with Callahan. It's a special arm. And Ryan Lambert, under the tutelage of Skip Johnson, has been able to harness all of that power. No violation, pitcher or catcher. Joseph Brown getting everybody lined up behind the plate. That 0-2, 101 miles an hour. I think it broke Carmichael's glove. I think it just broke through the webbing, Rich.
It kind of went through there like it did. Might have just been so hard it knocked it back.
In the air to left, hit hard. Pettis can't catch it. That'll bounce off the wall. Callahan churns for second. And now the tying run is going to come to the plate. We'll have to get a look at it. It looks like Kendall Pettis was there.
Yeah, it looked like he had a shot at it. I think that ball just carried a little more than he thought over his head. Kind of got a little too shallow. Yeah, he's right on that. That's a play he normally makes.
And here is Jordan Rogers, who's had a night so far for the Shockers. He has been the offense. Hit by pitch in the second. He homered in the fourth. And he's the potential tying run as you look at what Jordan Rogers has done in this game. He has 3 hits, been on base 3 times, the rest of the team 8, 2 hits, and both of them extra bases. Had a triple in the 6th. There's a little off-speed pitch.
Yeah, 2 in a row. I think Skip's like, man, these guys are timing that fastball up pretty good. We'll start mixing it up a little bit.
Callahan's hit scored a double. And the 4th hit of the night for the Shockers. Bouncing ball to Willits. Near the bag, pumps it across, and the inning is over. 2-out double by Ryan Callahan. But the Sooners will take a 3-1 lead to the last of the 8. Kansas hasn't pitched in either of the games between the Sooners and the Shockers, but he came through Butler County Community College. 3rd year at Wichita State. Did pitch in one of the games between the teams last year. Good numbers, though. Look at the strikeouts to walk ratio. And solid 2.66 ERA.
Got good stuff, looks like. Said quite a few strikeouts, not very many walks, low ERA. Probably just getting him some work before the weekend.
Shockers have Caden Favors and Tyler Dobbs, Tommy Lepore, who are kind of their weekend guys. But we've seen just about everybody else. 9 pitchers used by Brian Green and his staff this evening. Easton Carmichael, Michael Snyder, Anthony McKenzie. 3, 4, and 5 in the Oklahoma lineup are the scheduled hitters here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Wichita State bullpen's been pretty good. Allowed just one hit in the last 4 innings of work. Here is Easton Carmichael. Right now, he has the difference-making swing. A 2-run single in the 3rd inning, and Oklahoma has a 2-run lead. Two 2-0 to Carmichael. He's also struck out and fly to right tonight. Carmichael rifles this one right at the right fielder Seth Stroh for the first out. We've seen some screamers, some atom balls being hit, Rich.
Yeah, especially the last inning by Wichita State. That's a good swing there by Carmichael. You don't see, I think it might be 3 or 4 line drives in the last inning and a third. All line drives to the outfield.
Here's Michael Snyder, 0 for 1 with 2 walks tonight. Snyder lashes this one foul out of play. 1-1 to the Sooner first baseman. Oklahoma has Texas coming to town over the weekend for 3 games in the Big 12. 6:30, 4 o'clock, and 2 o'clock scheduled for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Wichita State will be welcoming the Tulane Green Wave to X Stadium. It will be 6 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 1 o'clock for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's strike 2 to Michael Snyder. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sixth strikeout for Wichita State pitching in this game. And Anthony McKenzie will be the Sooner batter with 2 down in the 8th inning. Shockers have out-hit the Sooners 5-3 in this game. McKenzie is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. See who Skip Johnson goes to in the bottom of the 9th, top of the 9th inning, I should say, to try to finish it off for the Sooners. Oklahoma bidding for an 8th consecutive win. A 1-1 to left. Lucart comes in, dives, and hangs on to make the catch. Braden Lucart with a sparkling end to the bottom of the system. And in to try to close it out for the Sooners is right-hander Malachi Witherspoon. One of the Witherspoon twins on Skip Johnson's staff, 6'3", 210, out of Jacksonville, Florida. Malachi's been good out of that bullpen. Both came through Northwest Florida State College, as did reserve catcher Scott Mudler. And they have really been a big part of what Oklahoma's done this year. The main thing for Malachi Witherspoon, Rich, 22 strikeouts and only 8 walks out of the bullpen.
Yeah, he gets after it, throws a lot of strikes, good stuff. You know, him and his brother both have really good stuff. They're big kids with good arms and good sliders, and they just attack the zone and get out.
And we mentioned Scott Mudler, who also came in with the Witherspoons from Northwest Florida State College. He is on to do the catching for the Sooners. And the Shockers are going to pinch hit here. Braden Lucart will be lifted, and Jaden Gustafson will be the pinch hitter. So Jaden Gustafson, who is 3 for 6 in the 2 games between these teams. First pitch misses a little bit outside. Gustafson is a Wichita native, Easy High School. Gustafson had 2 hits in the game between these teams up in Wichita. Sliding over to pick at his lane. What a play that was by the Sooner second baseman.
Yeah, nice play by Isaiah Lane right there. That little drop knee slide we were talking about a few innings ago. You know, he can play several places on the infield as well.
He's played quite a bit of third base this year.
Yeah, just that little drop knee. I usually teach him to drop the left knee, but some guys aren't used to sliding that way. They usually sliding bases, you're either right leg under or left leg under guy. It just depends.
Is that a comfort thing individually?
I think so. I was always teach right leg under, so that way your back is more to the throw than left leg under, so the front of your body's not open to the throw, stealing a base.
Seth Stroh is 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts for Seth Stroh tonight. 2-0 the count to him. High fly ball to left. Kendall Pettis drifting back, still drifting back near the warning track, and pulls that one in. That was a big league fly ball.
Yeah, it was. Good thing the wind wasn't blowing like it was this morning. That ball would have been out of here.
Oh my goodness, that landed it up in those apartments. Get up in the wind, so high up.
Man, that ball was driven straight up in the air.
It's like we'll have another pinch hitter coming for the Shockers. Josh Livingston will pinch hit in the number 9 spot for Cam Durnan. Durnan had been 0 for 2 with a walk. Shockers down to their final out. Malachi Witherspoon misses with that one. Livingston's out of Prosper, Texas, and came to Wichita State through Crowder College.
Carmichael from Prosper?
Yes.
I wonder if they know each other from high school days.
One would think.
Or local travel ball, or
Easton's brother Braden, also a former Sooner. Livingston's got some pop. He's hit 4 home runs. Driven in 12. 2-1 the count. Malachi Witherspoon, the 6th Sooner pitcher of the night, trying to close it out, extend Oklahoma's winning streak to 8. 3-1 the count. Top of the order, waiting on deck for the Shockers. That's Camden Johnson. Should Livingston reach base safely?
Yeah, need to go right out of here. Try to keep that tying run in the on-deck circle.
Wichita State's had the tying run at the plate in each of the last 3 innings. High fly ball out into shallow right center field. 4 players are there. Who takes it? It'll be walk, and the Sooners win. The winning streak reaches 8. Malachi Witherspoon from Wichita State in 2024. So Texas will come to town this weekend with Oklahoma on an 8-game hot streak. The Sooners and the Longhorns will do battle first on Friday night, scheduled for 6:30, Saturday at 4, and Sunday at 2 o'clock. We recap the scoring in this one on the night as all of Oklahoma's damage came in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It was Bryce Madron ripping this double into the right field corner to score 1 run. And then the very next batter was Easton Carmichael, and that's the difference maker right there, Rich, that 2-run single.
Yeah, just drove the ball back up the middle, drove in 2 runs. And, you know, the offense wasn't great, but the pitching was.
Shockers got that solo home run from Jordan Rogers in the top of the 4th, his 6th of the year, their only run of the night, and the Sooners win it 3-1.